Russia has launched a massive overnight strike on Ukraine's energy infrastructure, killing at least 3 people, including a 7-year-old child. Ukrainian President Zelensky has stated that Russia has launched over 650 drones and 50 missiles targeting key energy facilities across the country. Prime Minister Yulia Sviridenko has condemned the attack, saying Moscow's goal is to plunge Ukraine into darkness as winter approaches. Regional officials have confirmed deaths in Zaporizhia and Vinnytsia. With multiple injuries in both regions, Ukraine's air defense systems have intercepted most of the missiles and drones, but several hits caused significant damage. In response, Ukraine is calling for more air defense systems and tougher sanctions on Russia. The attacks have led to nationwide power restrictions, with disruptions to heating and water supplies in several areas. Now, for this discussion, we welcome back Professor Veselin Popovsky. He's a professor and vice dean at Jindal Global Law School, joins us live from New Delhi. Thank you very much, Professor, for staying with us. Now, how effective is Ukraine's current air defense system in countering these large-scale drone and missile attacks?
Well, I'll say 95% of the drones are gunned down by the air defense system, but 5% still can penetrate the airspace and hit, unfortunately, some limited targets. So we see this every day, and somehow the news usually reports the casualties, they come first, which is very unfortunate that 3 people, and one of them 7-year-old girl in Vinnytsia city was, actually she suffered injury and then she died in the hospital afterwards. And 2 persons were killed in Zaporizhia when the hit on the electric facilities came. So these are the numbers of casualties. They come first in the news. But behind that is the air defense, which protected 95% of the other drones not to hit their targets. So obviously nothing is perfect. So let's put it this way. Ukraine needs more air defense system and better ones. And that's why President Zelensky and other officials continue to demand additional military support, but also all other support, financial and other support from partners in the world. So the support for Ukraine should continue so that even those limited penetrations of drones into Ukrainian airspace are reduced to absolute minimum. That's one, but also it shows that the Russian strategy here, and it has been exactly the same before the first winter, before the second winter, and now before the third winter, is to target energy infrastructure. So basically, they would like to make the life of the civilians in Ukraine miserable with those constant power shortages, power cuts. And the winter is coming. The weather is very cold already in Ukraine. And energy cuts also mean more cold in the apartments, and people are not happy with that. So it's a nasty strategy of the Russian military, which is against any rules of war, which is against any norms, against the Geneva Conventions. That they should fight them combatant, the military objects only, and not the civilian. But we hear a lot of civilian casualties, a result of this illegal and inhuman Russian military tactics to hit energy infrastructure. By the way, we don't hear the opposite. Ukrainian hits in Russia are primarily 99% military. Very little aeros here and there, but mostly what we hear from Ukrainian successful hits in Russia. These are proper military targets. These are airports or large amount of storage space for ammunition and oil and gas refineries, which is the primary source for the war. Russia is exporting, as I said, oil and gas. So all of those targets that Ukrainians are hitting in Russia are military targets. But I'll say the majority of the targets in Ukraine hit by Russia are civilians. Some of them absolutely, they are children, kindergarten, parks, apartment, building blocks, 100% civilian targets. So that suggests who is fighting whom and who is defending against whom. Very clearly, who is violating international law? Obviously, the Russian Federation. And who is defending its territory? Obviously, Ukraine. There is absolutely no doubt about it.
Right. With that, I would like to thank Professor Vasilin Popovsky for joining us and sharing that insight and staying with us throughout our news. Thank you. Now we move on to U.S. Secretary of War. U.S. Secretary has stated that Pete Hegseth met his Malaysian counterpart, Muhammad Khalid Noordin, in Kuala Lumpur today during the ASEAN Defense Ministers meeting. The two ministers have signed a memorandum of understanding and discussed military cooperation. The high-level defense meetings will run until November 1st, with other ministers, including India's Rajnath Singh, expected to attend. This is what both of the leaders have shared.
Both of us will witness the signing of a memorandum of understanding on defense between the two countries, which signify a more closer relationship between Malaysia and the United States.
We share a lot of values. We share a great history. Our leaders share affinity with each other, which translates to our relationship as well. And now our militaries are going to have an opportunity to cooperate even more robustly than they do already, which is something we're very much looking forward to, given the capabilities of the Malaysian military, quite capable, practical partner. We share the pursuit of an open and free South China Sea, Indo-Pacific, and